Thank you for listening. And our next part of the program is Deglet Noor Fakirs.
Deglet Noor Fakirs. Yes, you were saying it with an accent.
That's right.
Because you're from New York. How do you translate that in West Coast?
That's another language. I haven't comprehended that one yet.
so to make this shortened, we're going to go ahead and start right now. So thanks for introducing us. So I don't have to introduce myself.
I hope you enjoyed this set.
Deglet Noor Fakirs, and here we go. Stay tuned. Well, that
to
was
those
called
listening,
live.
back live, very much alive, and to those listening, I hope you really enjoyed that as much as I did, and you don't know what it's like to be right in the middle of this.
You know, we're kind of like the Democrats and the Republicans. We help our friends out. We have our friends' bands play on here. But we're even worse because we have our own bands play on here.
That's right. We have our own bands playing.
So I want to say a shout out to some friends that are listening right now live. I think Chuck is listening. I think Sandra Roscoe Wolf is listening. I think Chris Kaiser's listening. I wonder if Denise is listening. Who else? I don't know.
We'll find out, though.
That'd be cool if Carl F. Off was listening.
Oh, it'd be great if Carl was listening.
But
it's honored that
point is,
all of them are listening because they are friends.
I mean,
they're friends and more than just band members. It's family.
It's midi-licious is what it is.
Exactly.
So the point is that we just express ourselves live, and then this is going to be played back all over the internet.
That's the whole thing. And this
As
is what
W
we're
would say.
here for. This is what we're here for. We're here for the moment.
The internets, both of them. Remember that? The debates in 2004?
You know, really, honestly, I didn't follow the debates.
I gave up on debates, too.
Yeah,
Carrie's listening, and Jen. So, Iris Fear. Anyway, God, that performance was something.
It was my description, epic.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
It was epic. It was just like, it took me through dimensions, and I had some questions.
Okay.
First
what are your
of all,
questions?
Forgive my my accent. I'm not kidding when I say I have this New York accent. And the pronunciation of the band's name, what does it mean in English?
Deglet Noor Fakirs. Okay, I'll give you a rundown of what it means.
All right.
The word fakirs, it's probably related to the English word faker, right?
I got that, yeah.
There's two different types of fakirs. There's the type of fakirs that are like yogis that like do their like yoga stuff, but for profit as street performers.
I got it.
Right? And then there's the fakirs, which fakirs means devotee of, right?
Okay.
And I said, Kirk, we need a band name that's the something something fakirs. And you can jump on that mic that's over there, down there. Yeah. And I said, well, we've got to be the something something fakirs, the devotees of something, blah, 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 right? And I believe, tell me if this is correct, Kirk. I mean, Herbert Von Carrion.
Okay.
He's a Star Trek fan, so I call him that as a joke. But weren't you eating dates from like Whole Foods or something?
Yeah.
It's the other one. The other mic should be
this one.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
And you said, how about Deglet Noor?
Yeah.
That's the type of dates that you were eating right then.
That's right. Yeah.
If you had been eating Medjool dates, which are kind of the more popular ones,
right? We could have been called the
Medjool Fakirs.
But that's kind of nice too, actually.
That is kind of a good name, and maybe we'll change it. Should we do it now? No. But the Deglet Noor literally means, Deglet means finger, and Noor is like Sufis always know this word. It means light.
Oh.
So fingers of light is what that literally means.
Wow.
That's cool. That's cool.
So, you know, I mean, that's pretty intense, right?
Yeah.
And so we're the devotees of the fingers of light, or we're the devotees of some like dried fruit that you get at a supermarket, some mundane thing, but tasty, but mundane, you know? So, it's deliberately, it's a tongue twister, you know?
It is. It gives you something to think about.
It's got to be a good tongue twister band because you have to go against the trend because everybody's always like, oh, well, it doesn't rattle off the tip of the tongue. No one's going to remember that name. You know, it's like, good, because we're not
You don't want to go that direction.
Yeah.
Herbert,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, are we trying to go for that effect? Are we
No.
trying to like be like a household name kind of thing, like
No.
easy to remember?
No, you don't want to do that because that's commercialism. Commercials do that. They give you this name that's like retarded, but that it's because you remember it. But you don't know. You don't want to do that. You want to.
Yeah,
well,
well,
we could change our name to Justin Bieber. That would be
yeah, that would
a
be
little more roll off the tongue-ish. But
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll like that'll be our gimmick. We'll vomit on stage,
yeah.
and
Thank you, we're Justin Bieber.
It's different and unique.
but we also considered changing the name to another name. Remember, Kirk? Because we were shopping over at that great market by you.
Oh yeah.
And by the way, it's been a year. I'm almost out of that stuff. I've got like one more tea bag left of Al-Waza, which is a brand of tea.
It's like a Ceylon tea.
It's like a Ceylon tea, and it's oh god, I love it so much because that's all I drink is tea, except for like maybe here and there a beer. But it means the swan. Remember?
Yeah.
And we both looked at it, and there's like a crude like logo of a swan, and we both looked at each other, and I said, we would literally be the devotees of the swan, and we both looked at each other and we went, holy fuck, because it's kind of true, because we're both kind of big fans of that band.
Yeah.
You know.
So that kind of you answered my second question because I was wondering if there's any kind of symbolism or symbolic meaning behind it.
Behind the name of the group, or
Yeah.
behind the
If it symbolizes
well, because
anything.
because see, there's a band that like inspired me more than anybody, in the last few years, and they're called the Shah Rag Fakirs, and they're from southern Pakistan. They're Sufis, and they follow a saint named Shah Abdul Latif Bitai. And this guy was a Sufi saint who they trace the origin of the sitar to him. They say he invented it, and they say that he invented this this instrument that these guys play. And the trip is with this instrument is these guys are more drone than anybody. That everyone's drone now. It's kind of a trend, but these guys are so drone that they only play one fucking note, and they only play one melody. But they sing 24 hours a day, all night, at the tomb of this saint.
They sing the Shah Rag.
Shah Rag.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a raga to the Shah, right? But they only sing the one melody, and there's like 20 YouTube videos or 25 that I've found because I've like really tried to find it. And then I try to find like it's in another language, and I try to copy and paste that in the search, and everything. And I've uncovered a few, and like tourists will shoot videos of them and stuff. And they only do one melody, and it's only one note, and they all are kind of in unison.
Don't they have like a drum built into their instruments?
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a drum inside of it, and it's kind of like kind of has that sound when you hit it, and then it has like a like a buzzy like thing.
Yeah.
And then they sing the poetry written by this Sufi saint.
Oh, wow.
And I'm gonna harp on it. You can tell me to shut up anytime.
No, keep on
because
going.
this is where I'm going. I have a tendency to take a long time to get to the place I'm trying to get to.
That's all right. We got all night.
And what I'm trying to get at is that I'm really, really, really interested in Sufism. Which to people who don't know what it is, it's
if
basically
you'd like to expand on that a little bit more.
Okay, well, basically in the United States, something that really pisses me off and it's going on is Islamophobia. If you're familiar with that term,
very much. I have the concept.
There's an organization that I follow on Facebook called CAIR, C-A-I-R. It's a Council for American Islamic Relations, and they try to call people on their Islamophobic bullshit. And you can't get away from that stuff now because it's like virulent. And what I'm trying to say is what most Americans see as Islam is the far right extreme fundamentalist assholes, Taliban people who are like really fucked up, and extremist. And what I'm trying to get at is the Sufis are the mystical other end of the spectrum.
I understand.
And if you've ever heard of the whirling dervishes of Turkey, or if you've ever seen the film Baraka, the whole title of that film, which is one of the greatest masterpieces of cinema, it means a blessing. It's a Sufi term, And if you're familiar with, which I know you are, Steve, a little group called the Master Musicians of Jujuka.
Yes, I've become familiar with
Brian
them.
Jones.
Yes,
the only reason we
Yeah.
know about that band is because of Brian Jones. And anyway, they were founded by a saint who came from Persia, Sidi Hamed Sheikh, who came there in the 9th century or 8th century or whatever, and taught them their baraka energy or whatever, that they like their mystical like power. And it's basically when I talk about Sufism, the reason I love it so much is because I saw like the Wikipedia definition of Sufism is a science for healing the human heart, and it's like that's like kind of like really profound to me as an artist, because, and you know this too, Steve, is like when you're an artist, like you just like your heart is like it hurts all the time, because like you see like the suffering of like what goes on, and
yeah,
like,
definitely.
you talk about the October
definitely.
22nd, like the police brutality bullshit, you know.
Yes.
And like, you know what I mean, right, Herbert? I mean, you know this. I mean,
it's the world's a hard place, you know. And,
it's a.
I think it's a responsibility of an artist to reflect that. You know, not just make pretty pictures that everybody enjoys, but to reflect that the world sometimes is a heartbreaking place to live in.
It's not a pretty world, and that's what we're here for. It's like to get that message out. You have a profound sympathy and I guess empathy for those who are suffering, and that's your message.
So that's the mess. That's what I'm trying to get at. Is what I mean. We have never discussed this, but that's what I'm expressing with this music, you know. And I always have with the Hop Rock Collective and all that stuff.
Oh yes,
going back, and I know Herbert with his previous band, it was called Between Ravens and Crows. And you guys were doing something that really like just blew my mind, you know. You and Jerry, who moved out of the country about 3 years ago?
Yeah, in 2009 he moved to Bali.
Yeah, he moved to Bali. So so he's like literally on the other side of the planet, and you guys had that great band, which like the stuff we were doing tonight is really not normal for what we do.
Right.
Normally we like, my agenda was always to kind of try to like be pretty big and loud and just blast it out, you know, and just do that, and then have all this other stuff too. But like what we ended up doing tonight was like half of it was like my half was kind of like what we normally do, and then your half was more of the Between Ravens and Crows kind of thing, which I think we need more of.
Yeah.
You know that. But I mean, the thing is, you normally play drums, and I normally am playing guitar, like with my amp, which is not. It's only a 30-watt amp, but I've turned it up to 3, and it's like you can. I mean, it just blows the windows out.
That amp's only 30 watts.
Yeah. Well, but if you go another 10 watts, it's only. Or no, wait. What is it? If you go another 10 watts, it's only another 10 dBs or something. It's like everything's misleading when it comes to that. A 100-watt Marshall, it's only like, 50 dBs more or something.
Yeah.
But it's. I mean, that's Mesa Boogie. I mean, they make.
Yeah.
That's a big
quality stuff.
Tonight was different. I think it's very appropriate. I mean, in relation to what we heard in the first half, it kind of like. It kind of took us to like a better plane. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, the thing where we're coming from is I'm coming from experimental electronics.
That's yes.
And basically in general noise, the whole noise scene, which we have a lot of musicians playing on here.
But what I see in noise is like, not for me, it's picturesque. I get images, but also it's an expression of rage.
Definitely, and that is there, and that's why noise has so much in common with really heavy music, like doom and thrash and like, every different forms of metal and all that stuff like that, or like kind of like grindcore and all that stuff, like Man is the Bastard and all that kind of stuff, Bastard Noise and all that, like is really like like they have their more musical side and their more like noise side, and the harsh noise is really expressing the same thing. And I know that whole grindcore thing, and like they're like talking about social injustice and
exactly
and war and the crimes of humanity and stuff, you know. And that's kind of what we're getting at too. I feel really more I mean, you really know that, like it comes out like really obviously when you play a show with or in front of an audience that like is not accepting of weird music. The people who are kind of more of a yuppie crowd or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And they're you just know, like, I mean, you either clear the room or people are just like confused or bewildered, right? I mean, you know how it is. But so yeah.
It's just lack of understanding and not wanting to understand. I mean, not wanting to focus on something.
One of my favorite quotes from a show that Jerry and I played once was, "When does the band start? Or are you it?" After we had been playing for about 15 minutes.
That's pretty funny.
It was really funny.
When does the band start? Was that a crowd of the wine and cheese crowd, or was it more of a like a different? Was it like some kind of like subculture kind of crowd?
I can't remember.
It sounds like the wine and cheese crowd, because like the
was
wine
sort
is
of that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the wine is, when's the band gonna start?
Well, that's the question, though. Do we want our stuff to remain compartmentalized in this little comfortable little corner, or do we want to be heard more? That's kind of the question I ask myself sometimes.
But that's a good question. It's something you want to think about. I guess for any artist, you do want to expand to a wider audience, but
I mean, I think our sound would be really cool in like a place like the El Rey Theater, or the place where I saw Swans last month. The
Music Box.
Music Box. God damn, that place was huge and big, and Swans were so heavy and good in that place. And somehow with the huge tall ceiling and kind of like the Echoplex, the place where I saw Earth last year. It's just, I think those big venues just are great for. I think we would be good in a place like that, but it would be rare to get a show like that. We were always talking about how like a lot of places like if we played Irisphere Gallery, we would have to play a very quiet set because it's just like this little tiny place, and it's all like concrete, so it would literally, people would just, their brains would turn to mush if we played like what we did tonight.
And even what we did tonight, but like, let alone bringing the whole drum kit and all that.
Yeah, God.
So you guys you got ahead of me a little bit, because I was going to ask, like, what are your influences, but maybe you said that already. Maybe you want to expand on it.
Oh, there's way more influences than what we've mentioned, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know where your heart lies, Herbert. But
I don't really know either. I guess I listen to a lot of different things, but I listen to a lot of world music, probably, obviously, and like traditional music from around the world. I think it seems to have like the most validity for me as far as that kind of thing goes. But I don't know. I listen to a lot of classical music too. My sort of
your namesake.
My name. Unfortunately, that's an issue that I've sort of thought of. Apparently, Herbert Von Carrion, who was the principal conductor for the Berlin Philharmonic for years, apparently he was he joined the Nazi Party back in Germany, and he was apparently like Hitler's favorite composer or something.
God, that's disturbing.
This is all the stuff I've like learned since I kind of.
I didn't know about. I only know him from the 2001: A Space Odyssey soundtrack.
Yeah. But I sort of picked my name from him, but so I've kind of been a little conflicted about using that name, but you know, that's all right. He eventually, after the war, I think he was actually even married to a Jewish woman, but
Really?
Yeah, he sort of was unpopular for a while, as everybody could probably imagine. But then he came back into
He proved himself again. Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I think he was more of an unfortunate opportunist than a real Nazi. But
Well, Oskar Schindler was a member of the Nazi Party too.
That's true.
So yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you know, I love classical music, and I think one of my most influential recordings is the 9 symphonies of Beethoven done by Herbert Von Carrion. And you know, like the Coriolan Overture and the Egmont Overture, and you know, Beethoven really kind of captured a lot of that. Just, you know, he was like the first heavy metal, basically. You know?
Yeah, bombast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
And just that epic power. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he just like did it, and yeah.
Beethoven was metal. That's interesting.
I like Beethoven a lot.
That's interesting analogy. I never thought of it. I mean, really.
But you did listen to like some kind of heavier stuff when you were younger, right?
Oh, sure, yeah. No,
like most of us probably grew up in the United States did.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of a metal kid in high school, but and then throughout my 20s, in my early 20s, I think I went through a period I listened to only Neurosis and Beethoven.
Oh, Jesus. You know, Neurosis have a new album out.
Oh, do they? I haven't been
Yeah,
following
I've heard
what
some of
they've
that
been doing
stuff.
lately.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Really good stuff.
I listen to Neurosis every day. That's another subject.
I was a real big fan of Enemy of the Sun, and what's that other one? There's 2 albums around that time that were really good. But you know, they were pretty powerful as far as early influences myself too. So.
Interesting, because see, for me around that time, I was listening to Swans like almost every day, you know, and like, or well, actually every day, and like I was kind of into like the industrial thing for a while, and actually I was pretty heavily into that stuff, and you know, I mean, you can hear it in my guitar style. Like I kind of listen to like a lot of like post-punk kind of stuff, or like Joy Division, The Cure, and all that stuff, of course. You know,
of course.
I mean, those are early influences. You can't help for that stuff coming out.
Right.
Sometimes all of a sudden you stand back and you notice it. You're like, oh, what the hell?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I wasn't trying to do that.
Yeah.
But
that always happens.
But like, I mean, lately, like, there's so much great music that I've uncovered. Like Friday, I'm going to see Earth. I want you to go with me.
All
You're
right.
going to go
Yeah,
too.
I need to go to that.
You
too.
can't beat that band. You know, they're kind of like the standard now.
Actually, I was thinking inadvertently that the guitar sound I had tonight was sort of reminiscent of Earth. I was like, oh, wow, hey, that sounds like Dylan Carlson.
Well, that was what was cool, is that we were doing the twin guitar thing, which we never do.
Yeah.
That's the first time we ever did that live.
Yeah. Oh, I love that band. They're great. Hopefully I'll go on Friday.
No, that was amazing, that what you guys did, the whole thing with the guitar. It was totally amazing.
Thanks. Thank you very much.
Sure.
We definitely have an agenda with the guitar thing.
I would say.
I try. My whole thing is like I try to do alternate tunings in this band, and try to like we had how many modes tonight? We said, oh, that's the one mode, that's the other mode, and we have these secret tunings that we came up with. And
since I started playing with you, Jeremy, I don't tune my guitar normally anymore, which is, nice. So thank you very much.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I ripped all that stuff off from other people. Like, I remember one time I was like searching, like I found like a fan site of Sonic Youth, and this one guy had like meticulously gone through every single Sonic Youth song ever, and figured out the tuning, and it was always different of each player.
Wow.
You had Thurston, Lee, and all this, and I stole one of those tunings.
Wow.
And then I never looked at the website again, and then I kind of like borrowed a little bit of that one, and then like invented my own
Just
thing.
sort of
and
figured it out.
Yeah, I just sort of started to do my own thing, and then I kind of tried to reverse engineer some raga that I heard, and tried to come up with a tuning that would do that.
Yeah. No, I mean, most of, everything that I've done has been done before. I mean, this instrument, God, that I've played before here when I played with
crank that up.
Francisco.
Let's hear that for a second.
This is a thing that I actually got from Jerry, who got it from Neubauten. So, instruments into Neubauten, they dampen the springs. These are big garage door springs. This is a shorter one that I've stretched out. Has kind of an interesting bass heat. And then I don't have the right speaker for this big, thick one, but it's the most bassy out of all of them. If I had a 15-inch speaker, it would shake.
I guess
this
we
whole
could turn the bass
room
up on this. Let's try it.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've got two 10-inch speakers and actually three 10-inch speakers here that aren't gonna really do it justice. But but there, of course, I have effects on this. Let me see if I can turn these effects off. But Neubauten basically dampens, I think, UNRWA.
Oh, okay.
They dampen their springs with like a towel. I think he like duct tapes a towel around like one end of the spring, and it sort of dampens it. But
okay.
Makes a nice like percussion instrument when you. He's got it hooked up to all kinds of different stuff. So.
Well, but you have yours running through some stuff, right?
Some effects, yeah. Just some sampling delay effects.
So you have the homemade God, and then you have another homemade thing over there, which is, I don't know the name of it, the dulcimer kind of thing.
Dulcimer thing, yeah, I don't know. It's
Junkcimer or whatever. And then we kind of tried to tune that to my thing on one of my guitars.
We did that yesterday, and it didn't really stay in tune, unfortunately.
Which is fine. It sounds great. That's kind of the key. That's our secret, is to have a little bit of like dissonance there.
That's right.
And then, God, I love the sound of that. And you were bowing it. You were hitting it with different things.
Yeah.
Now,
it's nice when you play.
But the other thing you have going, speaking of Jerry moving to Bali, you have some kind of gamelan, a gangsa, right?
Yeah, this is Balinese gamelan instrument that is used in an orchestra, kind of a large ensemble with, any number of these things, usually more than 20 or 15. But they're made in pairs, so there's a male and a female. I can't remember which one I've got here. It's probably the female. Looks like it's, and they're slightly tuned differently, so they're microtonally different. It's basically a like a marimba or a xylophone with or a vibraphone, basically, with bronze keys, and it doesn't it's on like a wooden bass, basically, and when you play both of them together, the microtonal differences in the keys kind of create beats. So
you were just playing the one.
Yeah, and I only have one tonight.
But that's the thing that the guitar strings do that we did in that one tuning, where you have the two and they're slightly off, and then it does that.
Yeah. So,
which is a characteristic of music from all around the world.
Yeah.
that you hear a lot.
Kinda
And you hear that
creates-
in a reed flute, or you hear it in
Yeah, creates this sort of dazzling effect that
dazzling. Yeah.
it's very dazzling.
So.
So what we're talking about, it's very fine point then, huh?
What's that?
It's very fine point, if that's the right word. I mean,
Well, what do you mean by that?
it sounds like you're very synchronized, like almost to the T.
Well, we that's the thing, is that we're not just doing randomness in this project. We're actually, like, I reverse engineered the tuning from his gangsa, and for one of the guitar tunings that we did, the second song that had the gangsa in it, and then I had tuned to him, and I was playing notes that were like corresponding to what he was doing, pretty much, not like 100%. There's probably a little microtonal difference in some of the notes, but it worked. We tried to work it out.
Yeah,
and on the album we have a violinist named Goger, who's a good friend of ours from north of Seattle, from Everett, Washington. And he recorded with us, and it has his violin stylings over it, which really works really amazingly.
Wow.
And that's my dream, to have someone like Goger playing over top, like soloing over top of what we're doing.
Yeah.
Constant, that kind of element always there.
I
was playing you that third ear band stuff with the oboe, which is ties together all the string stuff. And that's kind of like, if you hear that one piece on the album, it's called Sin of the Sword, I Shall Not Accept.
Wow.
The Sin of the Sword, I Shall Not Accept, which I saw on a documentary about Sufis or something. I can't remember where it was, Pakistan or somewhere. And the guy said that, and I thought that would be a good title for the album.
I see.
The Sin of the Sword, I Shall Not Accept. So basically he's saying he only believes in peace and not in killing. And so that's to put a plug in for our album that's coming out within a few weeks. That's the name of it, and that's the title song, and you heard a version of it tonight with the gangsa.
Oh wow, yeah,
and all that. So we're pretty excited because we've been working on this for a long time, and we have a lot of like really great musicians that contributed to this album.
Yeah.
Like Denise Owens played basically the psychedelic element throughout much of the album, like a bowed guitar with phaser and delays and all this craziness, going on over top, which is an element we kind of desperately need to sometimes.
Yeah.
And
I miss playing with Denise. She added a lot to what we did.
Yeah, she really has a good sense of that, and so hopefully that'll happen again.
Yeah.
And then we had Carl F. Off played bass actually on that song, and you said it was great. Like, he kind of nailed the low end of the gamelan orchestra.
Yeah, no, I heard that the first time, and I was like, oh man, it's like Karloff was doing the bass gongs that would normally accompany the gamelan instruments. There's these giant gongs that reside in the back of the ensemble that every now and again get played, but when they do, it's an amazing addition. It's just like and
simple and just held out, right?
Yeah, and it's not overdone. It's just this one note that's vital and perfect, and just that's what he did. It was great.
And so we also have Dustin from Actuary. He also plays in Pretty Agony. He's been on the show here, and he plays bass on several tracks on the album.
So how much work goes in? How much work does go into this? I mean, it's
to playing or recording or mixing or what?
A little bit of both. I mean,
well, the mixing of the album that's stuff like what in the last 10 years it's been. The technology is in the hands of anyone.
Yeah.
Just like doing a radio broadcast like this,
I got it.
You don't need $1 million worth of equipment to do it anymore. Now it's at the hands of anyone with a laptop like you have right there in front of you. And then it's just spending the time to learn how to use it and gaining the skills and everything, which is the hard part. But so yeah, I mean, we spent like probably a good 2 years like working on the album because we didn't really have the budget to go into it. Like normally what you'd do is you'd save up a couple of $1,000s and you'd go into the studio for 2 or 3 days and then mix it and master it and then it'd be done. But we didn't have those resources available to us. We got Stain, who used to run Il Corral, and we got him to do the initial session with his computer. Basically his computer he brought over to the studio to the warehouse where we rehearsed and recorded there. And then we did another recording there on my computer, and that came out really good too. It was just just 2 microphones, and like with the Stain we had like 10 microphones and the whole room sound and everything, which came out so good. And then that other time we just did like 1 mic in front of the drums, 1 mic on the guitar amp, and that came out pretty good too. But it took a hell of a lot of work to get it to sound good.
Normally we just, when we rehearse, it's usually just Jeremy with his, guitars, MIDI stuff, MIDI and non-MIDI guitars. Now he's got the 12-string, and me with a 6 or 7 piece drum kit. Although I've been kind of reconfiguring it, but and we'll go over a single piece for a really long time, to so much so that to the effect that when I'm leaving the place, I'm obsessively repeating the music in my mind for hours and hours and hours and hours, like days afterwards, because it's almost like this meditation on. It's
a mystical thing. It's a meditation, a mantra. It's not even a rehearsal thing anymore.
I just playing the same rhythm. This what we're kind of working on now is this 11 beat time signature it's like composed of like a 7/4, like so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 2 3 4, and
because 99% of Western music is in like 4/4,
exactly, and
or 8,
and that's great and it's awesome, but it's sort of once you discover new time signatures, it's like, wow, why do 4?
Wait, play a 7/4 on the little frame drum there for a second.
It's
the
1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 2 3 4
1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 2 3 4 1 2. Yeah. Or we'll do it like dun 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 dun,
a lot faster.
Dun 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 dun.
But playing that for a half hour straight, it's like
it becomes ingrained in your mind. Is that the whole thing?
I mean that, and it's just when you're in that state, you sort of just lose you kind of transcend into a different state of being, which is kind of interesting. I think it's what a lot of the mystical traditions from around the world kind of strive for, and it's kind of
that's the thing. I mean,
we're not really religious, but it's
right.
Music is sort of a religion unto itself, I guess.
But wouldn't you say it's more spiritual than anything?
No, but the thing is like, honestly, like I have to say, like I get pretty like down about things in life and all that quite a bit, and it's like music is really sort of the one thing that I've found that can actually like pull me out of that, and I'm not like lying. I'm just saying like that's really like a spiritual thing, it really is.
Yeah.
And Crispin, my friend I play with in Daylight Bats, he says that too, and he's like totally down on any kind of religion of any sort, and like cynical about that kind of stuff. He doesn't believe in any, that stuff. I don't know if it was forced down his neck when he was a kid or whatever, but
That's part of it, but yeah.
but he even says, you know, he even uses the S word, spirituality. You know, it's what it is. I mean, it's as an artist, I think that's what you're tapping into the exact same thing that a Sufi is doing when they're doing the whirling or the
yeah.
a lot of Sufism. That's why I love it so much, is because and I actually hold it like to be similar to Buddhism, but I like it better in some ways because they actually, their whole thing is you're doing the spinning thing, or you're doing like some kind of music, and that's where you get to the spirituality from. That's where you're connecting with the oneness of the universe or whatever. Yeah, and that's through an art form, which is like that's perfect thing for an artist, you know.
Yeah.
But I probably said this a couple of times, but it's like if you look at us as a spirit, it is spiritual because it's coming from you, the spirit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, really.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, but we're also, I also get like self-conscious, and I don't want to have people think that I'm like, and we live in Los Angeles, so we see this every day, is like this sort of like yuppie new age bullshit, you know? and like I've run into so many people like that are like all into this, like, oh, come to my yoga class, you know?
It'll
but then
really
like that guy like
wonders for your
and then he
12th
turn around
chakra.
exactly, and he'll turn around and treat his girlfriend like shit.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like it just doesn't make, you know, that it's just. Or you go into a store on Ventura Boulevard, and it's like they're selling like a Buddha statue for like $1,600.
Yeah.
You know, which is like totally against the tenets of Buddhism to profit from an image of the Buddha. Yeah. You know, it's ridiculous. I mean, that kind of stuff. And what's that? There's a publication you see around town, a free thing that's all like ads for like Sri Ravi Shankar or. You know, a lot of these, I mean, I have respect, you know, Amachi, you know, I got the hug from Ama once, you know, and stuff, but I kind of distance myself from that stuff a lot too.
No, it's falseness. It gets, I don't want to get into it,
I mean,
but it gets into
how
capitalism.
far, yes, there you go. How far do you have to go until it becomes a cult? Yeah. You know, and like, so you have to be real careful and about that kind of stuff.
You know, it's like televangelists or something. It's,
yeah.
You were telling me about like Sai Baba, I think you mentioned.
Yeah. He's
like some like 40 Rolls Royces or something.
Yeah, exactly. And I really think that guy's cool. I like his incense, you know, and I mean, and I think he's cool. And I know a lot of people that have like the picture of him like hanging on their wall and stuff. But there's also like there's this funny those YouTube videos where they point out his little like cheap magician trick that he does, like when someone slips him the little thing that he like, remember he's supposed to like be able to pull this endless amount of ashes out of an empty, supposedly empty urn or whatever, and then he'll just, but you can see they show it in YouTube. There's a lot of these videos where people have like, look, they like zoom in on the thing and somebody's slipping him a little like capsule that he'll like put up in there and break it open, and then all this like ashes come out, and all his followers like, oh my god, you know, he's a holy being and all this stuff. And it's like I'm really skeptical of anybody like claiming to be a holy being. I mean, the Buddha himself did not claim to be a holy being. Right. All he claimed to do was to help people to not suffer, and that's like a great, amazing thing.
I had a question, if you don't mind me. Was there a certain reflection or mood that like reflected your music? Maybe something you're going through, or just I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like, there's been some hard times lately. Yeah. You know, the weather is gloomy, and I mean, you know, that's not normal for here. You
Very
get, like,
gloomy.
Get like bombarded with sun all the time.
The pallor has descended upon us, and it's very, very gloomy.
He's
mood.
Werner Herzog is in the studio tonight, and he's we're just gonna let him talk because, you know,
no, Crispin, I think it's No, I
Werner,
would not say
Werner.
that.
Well, weren't you being ironic when you show that?
No, I was not being ironic.
No, Crispin, I don't have a sense of irony. I have a defect. I don't understand irony. I have to say that guy's like one of my main heroes of all time, and I just think it's like really, everybody's ironic now, all the hipsters and everything. But like, honestly, that is ironic that this guy lives in Los Angeles, of all places. This guy's from the mountains surrounding Munich, so he was a Bavarian guy who like has traveled to the ends of the earth and like gone through hell to make his films, and now he lives comfortably in on Mulholland Drive, and I saw a trailer 2 days ago for a movie starring one of the biggest Hollywood stars, Tom Cruise, and then like you see the trailer, and after about a minute of the trailer, there's like this voice you recognize, and you're like, wait a minute, that's Werner Herzog, and he's playing like some bad guy in like this Tom Cruise movie.
And speaking of Werner Herzog, I also have been, as of late, very much enamored of Florian Fricke.
Yeah.
Who is Popol Vuh from most of Herzog's earlier work.
I mean, honestly, like I played Chech 3, one of our songs.
Yeah.
For a friend of mine, and he had never heard our music, and he goes, "Oh, you've got to listen to all of the Popol Vuh stuff." And I mean, because I had inadvertently ripped that chord pattern off from Popol Vuh.
Yeah.
I admit it.
Yeah.
But
that's great stuff.
what do you think? I mean, this I don't know if you've seen Wild Blue Yonder, the film that Herzog did.
No,
but he that's like my favorite score of all time is like Ernst Reisinger. He's a cellist from the Netherlands, and then they assembled a group of musicians, and Herzog likes to go in the studio with the musicians while they're recording, and he'll like give them hand signals and like all this stuff, and he did this music where he got this guy Mola Sille, he's like this singer from Senegal, and then he got a group from Sardinia, and they're like a shepherd choir, and they do this like kind of low end, like almost like throat singing kind of stuff.
Wow.
But and I'll play you a second of it.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, you've got it with you?
yeah.
Nice.
Sorry. Yeah, it's this one. This is like listen. Whenever life brings me to my knees, I listen to this music.
in the bed, Fatima. Remes patos umego et timeo, omnes cosio venerecaque ventura era. Quando
So basically, this music is being played over footage shot on one of the space shuttle missions. I think it was like STS-45 or something in the 80s. And it's just footage of space shuttle astronauts going about their business. But they're literally like, it appears that they're like experiencing like a total high from the weightlessness, you know? And it's just, he turned like some mundane footage that he got from the archives, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, into like the most amazing, like profound thing.
Wow.
It is profound. Somebody did something very similar when Armstrong walked on the moon. And if I could ever
Are you
dig
talking
it
about
up,
the Brian Eno one, For All Mankind?
Oh,
That was the one you
great.
told me about.
Yeah.
No, it was like an obscure band. It was a band. I don't know if they exist anymore, but they did something like really very beautiful and dynamic for his moonwalk.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Or the station I was listening to, they put something very.
They put something together for it?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, that For All Mankind was really, really good.
Oh, man.
So amazing. Amazing to watch that stuff.
Yeah. That was far superior to a newer one interviewing the NASA Apollo astronauts, I thought. So you saw the space shuttle recently?
Yeah, we were set to go down to San Diego that day, my fiance and I, and I turned on the computer that morning. It was a Saturday, and I saw on the BBC website that the space shuttle was moving through the streets of LA, and I totally had forgotten about that and didn't get a chance to see it as it flew overhead. So I was just thinking oh man, I have to go. If I don't go now, I'm gonna really regret it. So I drove out to Inglewood off of Crenshaw, and just drove to the road closure basically on Crenshaw, parked, and walked over to the space shuttle, and God, it was so cool. I mean, when I heard they were I think it was Endeavour, Space Shuttle Endeavour.
Yeah.
That was the last one to make a flight, right? I can't remember, but
I'm not sure.
when
Yeah, probably
they
was.
announced that this was the last flight of the space shuttle, I actually got a little weepy, a little snivelly, oh man, that's it's like a integral part of my being, growing up with the space shuttle missions, and it's seeing an old friend going to retirement or something. I don't know, it was weird, but to actually see it up close like that, going through the streets of
So
LA
weird.
was so cool. I mean, wow. Up close and stuff. It was such a trip.
So what is it about the whole dream of space travel that has something to do with what you do artistically? I mean, does that have is there a connection?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Probably. It's, yeah, I'm sure. I don't know what that is, but
there's something there.
yeah.
There's something there, because yeah. I mean, I was really massively emotionally impacted by the two space shuttle disasters
Yeah.
that happened. I
Right.
remember we actually had a with Hop Frog, we had our second gig ever. The day that the Columbia blew up.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
I remember.
You guys were young.
The Columbia.
Oh, the Columbia,
no,
not
the Challenger.
Not the Challenger.
No,
okay.
the Challenger was in '86.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm talking about the Columbia.
The Columbia.
2003.
2003,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I remember Eric had some lyrics that he had written based on a backwards sample from a record
Uh-huh.
that we were spinning at one point, and it sounded like they said recent Nazi spirits. So he said that as a lyric, and then he changed the lyrics that night. He said recent NASA spirits.
Oh, nice.
That was pretty amazing.
Nice. Huh. Yeah. Yeah, well, now the space shuttle's going to reside at the Science Center, so
Yeah.
we can go and visit it.
Yeah, that's right by where I work, so
Yeah.
I'll go over there a lot.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think that's really amazing.
Yeah.
But I still think it's a mistake. I still think that the canceling of the shuttle program is one of the stupidest things that any president ever did. Because
Yeah.
it's like somebody said it's like clipping your toenails to try to lose weight.
Yeah.
It's so idiotic. That they were talking about the PBS thing. But,
Right.
But that is one. It's like, how much do we spend every year on missiles and bombs and nuclear
Yeah.
weapons and all kinds of other bullshit,
Yeah.
and
It's just a pittance compared to that,
aircraft
anything
carriers and stuff, and
Right.
and a space shuttle.
Like the most amazing space program anyone's ever come up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, he put an end to it. That was John Kennedy's, one of Kennedy's dreams.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah,
Really.
yeah.
And I think, what did they say? Like, Endeavor had like 20 more missions in it at least, or something. You know?
Yeah.
Like
what
one of the contingencies of the Science Center, the California Science Center, accepting it was that they couldn't use it again.
Oh shit.
They had to not let anybody use it for space travel.
So it wouldn't be like that Armageddon. Remember Armageddon? Where like they had to pull the secret extra space shuttle out of the hangar and like go on a rescue mission or whatever.
Land on a asteroid.
Yeah.
I don't think I could sit through that movie.
No, it was terrible. But Udo Kier was
so
in it, so that was what was cool about it.
Oh, who was?
Udo Kier, you know, that great German actor.
Oh, okay.
But he had like a minor part in it.
Huh.
But and it had what's his name from Fargo, the Swedish actor. What's his name?
Okay, I don't know.
I can't think of his name right now, but yeah, he was he played a Russian cosmonaut that had been like stuck out in the space station for too long.
Yeah. That was
I
great.
love that scene.
That was a great
I love that. He's
character.
like, remember, he's like got that like wrench. He's like hitting like the pipes. He's like, what the hell? Nothing works anymore. I love that part. I thought that was amazing. Like some genius thing that like some shitty Hollywood movie like had going for it. You know?
Yeah,
Oh,
totally.
that was great. But anyway, I could talk about like trivial, stupid shit all day, you know. But anyway, we should maybe wrap up here in a second. We've been talking for a long time.
Yeah, it's.
We'll resume
Getting
this another
kinda-
time. We'll
It's
come
not
back.
getting. It's not getting late. It's getting early. Early in the
Oh,
morning.
yeah, okay.
But I just had a couple observations.
Okay.
For me, you took me back to, I don't know why, but the Pink Floyd Fearless. Remember Fearless from Metal?
Oh yeah.
It's just one point. I was just there.
Yeah, nice. I love that song.
Oh, that's great. I love that album.
I love
that
the whole
song.
thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
And
maybe with your sample, I bet that was probably the chanting. I kind of thought of that too, exactly. Oh,
What does it say to interpolate something from Gilbert and Sullivan or something?
Is it?
It's that's what they're singing. Yeah,
Ah, okay.
yeah, it's something like
and
that.
you can't hear what they're actually
no,
singing.
it's like You'll Never
just
Walk Alone or something, but they're singing that
That's what
like
they
it's
would
a
do. That's
crowd
what
of
it took me back
50,000
to,
people at a
yeah,
soccer
yeah.
match.
so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That
they,
song
like,
is a
start
great
cheering
song
it.
too. What is it? Slowly the idiot stares. What is it?
Yeah.
The
Fearlessly, the idiot.
fearlessly the idiot stares across the something. What is it?
Fearlessly, the idiot faced the crowd,
That's what it was. Yeah.
smiling. Merciless, the magistrate turns around, frowning, or something like that.
Yeah.
And who's the fool who wears the crown? Go down in your own. Blah blah blah.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah. I love it.
And the other observation, I finally got a chance to see that Walking with the Dead Man or Don't Walk with the Dead Man
What's that?
with Neil Young.
Oh, Dead Man.
Oh, yeah, Dead
I
Man.
finally got to see that one. That
Yeah.
took me back to
That's
that
a
one
masterpiece.
too.
One of the
Isn't
best
it?
films ever made.
it's a
So
good
you got
movie.
to see it.
I got to see it.
I've been
Cool.
telling you about that movie for like a year.
I sat down and saw it with a friend of mine.
It's a
yeah,
masterpiece.
It is. It was very much.
That Gary Farmer, that actor that plays
Nobody.
the Nobody. Oh
Yeah.
my
Nobody.
God, he's great.
He's
Oh,
good.
Shit.
I like him.
So, but what did it, like? Because you really like William Blake, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of related to William Blake, the
yeah.
character actually
Oh,
in the
yeah.
movie.
Uh-huh.
Genius. That's the thing is like for me, I could sit here and talk all day about cinema because that's like something that's Von Carrion here. That's pretty much all we ever talk about is cinema, like Kurosawa's
Yeah.
films or
Masaki Kobayashi.
Kobayashi, and like I remember I recommended a series of films to you, and you kind of like went part way through like the first one, and you were like, I couldn't take it; it was too much.
Yeah.
That's the Human Condition
Yeah, it's hard to
by
watch.
Kobayashi, and that's Tatsuya Nakadai, who's like one of my favorite actors, and it's just really really heart wrenching that
Yeah.
film. But or what about Harakiri?
Yeah. That was a good one too.
Or what's his name remade that recently, by the way?
Oh, who?
the same guy that did 13 Assassins.
Oh, really?
Is a remake of it.
Redid
Yeah.
Harikiri?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But I'm sure it won't be nearly as good as the
Yeah.
original. But
Yeah.
I love those films. I love you just like for some reason like the Japanese cinema of now is not anywhere near where it was 40 years ago.
Hmm.
50 years ago.
Yeah.
It's just everything's about extremes, kind of like music in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like everything's like been like steroided out and like done to extremes, but then like the music isn't interesting in the films now. It's always this very Hollywood rip-off kind of boring, mundane
Overproduced.
scores
Correct,
that are
yeah.
just typical
Yeah.
Hollywood style. And back then they would like really embrace like the biwa,
Yeah.
that stringed instrument,
Yeah.
and like the traditional kind of no theater influence kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and all that.
right.
God, I love that shit.
A lot of that was really avant-garde too, Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Kurosawa's like my Beethoven of
Yeah.
cinema, I think.
Yeah.
I can't go for too long without watching one of his pieces, and he, made so many movies, especially in the, 50s or 40s and 50s, 60s. He kind of. When did he stop like making so many?
Dersu Ozala, I think, was like kind of a comeback, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh,
He had
God,
stopped
that
for a
movie
few.
is so
Oh,
good.
you told me to watch that movie. If you ever get a chance, see that movie. And it's about a Russian Kapitan, right? Kapitan.
Yeah, he's a surveyor,
Yeah.
cartographer, and they're on a mission through Siberia, and they meet. I think they're like lost in the woods with his party or something, and they meet this indigenous guy. He's like a Russian Eskimo, and
Mhm.
they become like best friends in the
Yeah.
whole world. And
They go on all these adventures together.
yeah, it's
Out in Siberia, and he saves his life. He teaches them like shooting, like how to like catch all these different types of
Yeah.
animals, and yeah, and it's a masterpiece. Well, that was the thing, because Kurosawa went to Russia and he was hanging out with Tarkovsky and stuff.
yeah.
And like there's that story that Tarkovsky was like the only time he ever got like really drunk, like drank a bunch of vodka, and he was singing the theme music at the top of his lungs for the Seventh Samurai.
That's right.
I get really excited talking about like the heroes and stuff. So
Yeah.
we should shut up, or shut me up. I'm sorry. You can turn my microphone off.
No,
But-
it's all right. No, I understand.
But okay, I'll talk about Qui-Gon for a minute. That's another
Well, it's
film
like-
that's like my
I
favorite.
get out of hand. You push the mute button, so it's cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You have to watch Qui-Gon if you haven't seen it, because it's the greatest anthology of horror stories or whatever.
That's
ever
my new
made.
like Halloween movie. I think I watched it last year, and I think I'll probably get it again this year because it's so
It's a hell of a lot better than watching like Halloween 6 or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's because it's. I mean, those movies are great too. The horror movies of Hollywood and stuff I liked a lot. I had a lot of influence from. But once you see a real horror film, that's it right there. Qui-Gon, especially the Hoichi the Earless.
Hoichi the Earless, yeah.
If you haven't seen that, Steve, Hoichi the Earless, that is the one segment from the film Qui-Gon, which is the most amazing thing you'll ever see in your life.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's a blind biwa player, and it takes place back in I don't know what period. I don't understand the Japanese periods really, but it's probably in the 1600s or something, right? Or
Yeah.
later, and it's just this really, really eerie story because he's like a master at the storytelling thing where he'll play this stringed instrument, which is very minimalistic and a lot of like hitting one note, that kind of stuff, and then he'll sing the story of like this like epic story of the destruction of the Haika clan, which is like in Japanese history, it's kind of like the most epic, like tragic story that there is, and the Haika clan. But then like they show it as he's playing it. They show it, and it's like this thing obviously shot in a studio with like phony backgrounds and stuff, but it's done very, very like expressionistically,
Mm-hmm.
and they're showing the the act. It's almost like a silent film the way they act. You know, it's like very old fashioned kind of, but with colors and like these guys and they're on these ships, and it's like the Haika clan was like totally wiped out in this battle in this naval battle at sea, and then like the women and children had to like jump overboard afterwards and all die and drown in the ocean.
Wow.
And it's like this the whole clan was wiped out, and it's
but the like the ghosts, the you know, dead of the Haika clan like come back and actually you know, take Hoichi, this blind biwa storyteller, and want him to come and play for them at isn't there like a shrine to them that they live at, and they attend his playing, but he doesn't know their spirits because he's blind.
But then they show like there's these like flaming like little like
will-o'-the-wisp kind of things that are like
just
flying
around that are just showing the spirits. And then it gets even weirder from there.
So good.
Anyway, so that's I guess I could leave you with the little bit of that Heike Monogatari piece.
You've got Quite On soundtrack.
Yeah, I have that right here. We'll just leave us with that. Do you have any other things to say, Steve?
No, thank you very much. It was a very beautiful night.
Thank you.
No,
Thanks so much, Steve, for having us on your show.
Thanks, Steve.
Oh, it's more than a pleasure. I can't do this without you. I really mean it.
All right, so thanks, Herbert. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, guys.
And have a good week.
Okay.
表はいてにおらず源氏の大将九郎義経にこそ組み合わんでもいえよ義経この岸に逃れんとすればなみ高くしてこの意ごとくこの右輪に上がらんとすれば源氏矢先を揃えて待ち受け取り船手こぎても打ち果たされ行く家も知らず平家の船あるいは沈みあるいは漂い源平の国争い今日も限りと見えとり 時こそ来たれ元禄2年3月24日の宇野国に源平両軍船でして壇の裏にてや合わせとぞ定めける元の神の立根は今日最後とや思いけんおっぱ増票は相手におらず源氏の大将九郎義経にこそ組み合わん